Today on The Peter G. Show, we're loading up the crew and taking a trip to North Hollywood, California, where tucked away is one of Hollywood's iconic recording studios, The Steakhouse. That's where I'm meeting up with my friend and certainly one of the music industry's most iconic guitarists, singer, songwriters, Steve Lukather. Hey everybody, welcome to The Peter G. Show. I'm stoked. I've been telling you this for a couple of weeks now. And I'm very, very lucky to have an old friend of mine stop in. In fact, we're sitting in a very nostalgic kind of place. We've both worked... The studio.
Steakhouse Studios, North Hollywood.
That's right.
One of my favorite rooms of all time.
And one of my favorite people. We are going to talk to the infamous Steve Lukather, my bro.
Infamous, ooh.
Yeah. You know, well, you got history.
Yeah, 40 plus years now. I don't know what happened, man. It's just kind of it's weird. You just kind of look back and go, where did all the time go?
But they said you had a good time.
They tell me I had a great time.
Yeah.
But then I, became a human being again. See, I'm not weird or anything like that.
Well, that remains to be seen. Yeah. But it's all
Depends
good.
On
It's a good weird.
Right.
I've known you I've been thinking about this now. I haven't known you as long as some of the people in this town, but I've known you for at least 20 years now, believe it or not.
Yeah, well,
I had color in my hair.
Yeah.
So,
well, I dye the hair, but it's real,
I can't.
Who would wear a wig that looks like this?
So, 20 years. And I remember from the first time I met you, prior to me ever thinking about getting married, prior to me ever thinking about having kids, and you were already in that mode. You were already in and out of that mode.
Well, I got married the first time very young, and had kids when I was 27. It was the first time I had kids.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, but you had
31, 29, 9, and 6.
Okay, because today we're talking not about all the musical endeavors, because everybody talks about that. Today we're going behind the guy that does all the stuff that you would never know, that I know, that I'm pretty proud of him. That's why I'm on the show. It's like, you have no idea what kind of a dad we have here.
Oh, man, that's the best thing in my life, being a dad.
Exactly. And I've watched you go through the...
Well, I mean, I'm not any different than anybody else. Unfortunately, I'm a father of 4, but I've had 2 divorces, which I'm not necessarily proud of, but, shit happens in life,
Let's start from as far back as I can remember with you. When I met you, I'm at Andy Brower's or something like that, and there was this road case sitting next somewhere, and there was a big rubber mallet on the case. And you came walking by, and I didn't really know you. I knew you, but I didn't know you. And you were tweaking. You were just apparently, from what I learned, you came from your attorney that day.
Oh, geez, man. And what year is this? Which one?
It's 20 years ago.
20 years ago,
okay.
So that would have been my first divorce, sadly.
But you know how when you go through that stuff, it winds you up.
Yeah, well, here's what winds you up mostly, and if I can give any advice to anybody, is don't try to avoid lawyers, because lawyers make a lot of money off of people, and they sort of like, when 2 people are not getting along or hate each other or the breakup is bad, they make a lot of money off of that.
They do.
So they don't ever stop you and go, you should really chill out and not spend so much money being angry and try to, fix this, because really, on both sides of the fence, the male or the female, whoever's leaving who, that money that goes to the lawyers is less money for you. Okay, that's all I can tell you.
But easier said than done, because when you're in that moment, you know what I mean?
When you break up, it's hard enough emotionally.
Yeah.
For both sides.
Yeah.
Like I said. And, I'm very lucky now to be friends with my ex-wives.
You are lucky.
But it takes effort. And my first divorce was not as easy as my second, and they're never easy. So
yeah, it hurts.
Especially when you have children involved, because they're the innocent victims of a scenario they never planned for.
Sure.
Which is to have mom and dad fall apart and different homes and all the rest of it that goes with it. And if there's anger involved, and they feel it whether you say it or not.
Oh no, they're sponges.
So they are really, really sensitive, and we really try to keep that away from them. But unfortunately, sometimes in the heat of battle, both parties can say things that they don't really mean, or they're just angry that day. Everybody's angry. That's a human nature,
But back in the day, when you were juggling, here you are, rock star, dad. You were. Let's face it.
Whatever.
Come on.
Yeah,
You've
whatever
done.
I am, I am.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, the bottom line is you get to do stuff that most people only dream of. I know it's.
Well, I mean, but people only see the good bits.
Exactly. That's why we're talking today.
When you have a 2-year-old kid that's on the phone going, "Daddy, come home," and you can't come home for 2 months.
How do you? That's it. So how are you?
A day is a year to them, you know.
You're right, and it hurts, and because I'm experiencing it. And the thing is, but back then, did you have what kind of custody did you have? How was it worked out, or you just were lucky?
Well,
I know.
Wow.
Sorry, bro. They gotta know.
But see, I don't want to dig up dead bodies. I've been divorced from my first wife from almost 30 years ago.
I hear you, but that was the initial.
Well, that wasn't a pleasant breakup for anybody involved. She had left me at that time. I think I had a lot. It was my fault too. It wasn't a matter of that. I just think after a while, we were kids when we got together.
Yeah.
So, at that point when you realize that, a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old are getting married, if you look at it now, looking back now that I'm 59 years old, and I have kids that are older than that, I go, I can't imagine my kids being married and having children right now, but my oldest daughter wants to have a kid, so, that's all part of it, and, we live in a world now where most people don't go the distance.
Yeah,
let's face
15 minutes.
You know what I mean? And, when our parents, they stuck it out whether they hated each other's guts or not, and that's hard to watch. So you wonder, is it better to stay in it? Is it better to leave? I think sometimes most of the time, both parties aren't on the same page, but it's time to leave. Otherwise, it would be a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then there's the point of money, and maybe one person works and has a living and the other person doesn't, and it's a difficult situation, even at the best of times.
But you juggled your kids from way back then. When you were home, you had them. You were dad. You weren't Steve Lukather. You stepped off, the guitar got put away, and you're dad.
Always does. And being a dad is one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given. Yeah. That's what I'm saying to both my exes. I mean, that's the greatest gift they've ever given me. And they're both great moms, and and I stepped up, and being a dad is really important to me.
Well, you could have been the douchebag that says, well, I'm going to pay you a check, and you know what I mean? Because there's lots of guys and girls like that go, look, I got to do what I got to do.
Well, the difference is I love children, I wanted children. Maybe
go.
If somebody is in a scenario where they didn't really want to have a kid, then that might be something different.
And that's why you're here.
I love my kids, and
Because
we talk every day whether I'm home or not. Now it's a lot easier now that you have a cell phone. You can be FaceTime.
Sure.
Because a lot of my work takes me away from home, sometimes 200 plus days a year.
Yeah.
Now because the record business has been eviscerated.
Yeah.
So that's a different kind of a business. So most of us guys my age in a classic rock band, whatever, you make your money on the road. So unfortunately. My father was in the movie business, television and film, so when he would go on the road, he'd be gone for 3 months and there was no phone even.
Right.
It's like $100 a minute on some sort of army phone that they would, hey Dad, I love you, great, are you being good? Yeah, okay, bye. And that was the extent of my, so I understood, but what's important to say is that I love my father every bit as much as if he was the guy that came home every night, because every family has
you gotta do what you gotta do sometime.
You got, they gotta work. Dad's gotta work, or mom. Now mom and dad work, whatever it is.
It's hard.
To try to keep your head above water. I mean, it's, children are expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't have any problem with that, but I mean, it is something that people need to think about before they start.
Well, it changes your whole focus too. I mean,
it's not about me anymore. It's about them. I mean, they have the priority they always have.
You're like this, for months.
All 4 kids, I was the first one to hold each one of them when they came out. And, all that, I said, hey, it's me, Dad. And I'm still very much that guy.
I remember we were out somewheres. We were in Orange County somewheres, and your son, Trevor, came to the gig. And I hadn't met him, and he was 13. And we were sitting on this electric boat. I don't know here. And I go, that's your son? And he goes, yeah. And I go, how old is he? He goes, and you lean over. You got this way of doing it. You go, he's 13. And then you look at me again. You go, but he's an old 13.
Listen, I'm convinced my oldest son, Trev, was my father in a past life.
Oh, boy.
He's very calm.
He's turned out to be a good kid.
He's a great kid.
Yeah.
All my kids are great.
Well, I haven't seen Tina in a long time. But
Tina's happily married, living in Vegas.
Yeah.
I love her husband, Tony. He's a great guy, great family.
Cool.
That's nice when you see your kid marry somebody cool, you know.
It shows that you've done a good
And
job.
I'm very proud of all my kids. You know, they're all. I mean, the older ones are doing what they want to be doing, and they're enjoying life.
Right.
And they're not hung up or strung out or anything like that. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah,
you know,
it can go
you
either way.
Listen, man, I got friends of mine that, you know, have to deal with that. You know, and that's really hard.
It's hard,
You know, I
really.
mean, I used to be the crazy guy. Okay, that's well documented.
You've lived to tell about
But
it.
I mean, you know, it's been 8 years since I had a drink or a smoke. So I mean, you know,
There's
you
another.
get to a certain age and you go, "What am I doing this for?" Especially when you have kids. I mean, yeah, at my worst, I was still up in the morning taking everybody to school and everything. You know,
Well,
I might feel a little more beat down, but now I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning voluntarily, and I go to sleep early. But I feel much better. I think my second round at being a dad, I'm a different person. You know.
I'd say so.
You know, but I was a good dad the first time. You have to ask my kids. I mean,
No,
I mean, you have to juggle a lot. I mean, I travel, and then I was in the studios back then, and you know,
you
all
worked
this
a lot. You were a worker.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on
I'm
wood.
that guy now. I mean, I love my job, but not more than I love my kids. But one facilitates the other. I have to take care of business too.
But it is harder when you're single because you don't have that second person at the house. Somebody's like, I gotta go, I'll be back.
Well, see, I'm lucky enough to be in a position to have somebody.
You got somebody at the house?
I've had somebody, Mimi, man. She's been with me for 32 years.
Oh, good.
She is the most incredible woman I've ever known. She's the baby whisperer. She's surrogate mom.
Does
you
she
know.
live at your house? Or
When I have the children, she does.
Okay, cool.
You know, and back in the day, I couldn't have worked without her. So for
Sure.
me,
Yeah.
I had to find somebody.
30 years.
32.
Wow. Very cool.
She's in my will. I mean, I've taken care of this.
Good for you.
She's
God bless you.
a
That's why he's this guy.
No, I mean,
Yes.
if without her, and my kids love her, my exes love her. She's a trusted, beautiful soul that, like, I just was the most fortunate guy in the world.
And that's hard to find.
And, you know, if you're going to have to travel, then you have to have some sort of an income to be able to have help when, you know, because maybe mom works too,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
And those kids, you know, it's really hard to find somebody that you trust and that won't do anything weird to your kids or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I trust this woman with everything that I have.
But, okay, so let's step back a little
But I
bit more.
have to have that because I'm constantly working, constantly out of town.
But you've had lots of practice and you're doing real well at it. That's why you're here. But the thing is, even you, Steve Lukather, goes
Stop
through.
with that.
Stop. I'm sorry. I got you. Okay, my buddy.
I'll
Okay.
take up the sunglasses.
Yeah,
now,
there you go.
okay?
But
I don't
the
mean to
thing
be
is,
intimidating. I'm really a nice guy.
no, he's super. The thing is, there's times when you go through hell in your head. How do you
Look,
get
the
through
first
it?
thing when you're going through a divorce, I don't care who you are, it's the same gut-wrenching hole in the heart. And the worst part is if you look at your kid and they have tears in their eyes and like if they're torn, you know, they don't know. They want to be with everybody. They want everything to be perfect
Nice,
the way in
yeah,
their mind
yeah.
that they think it is. And sometimes it's not perfect, or you would stay together, you know, or maybe you make an attempt to in and out, or whatever. Everybody does it different. There's no easy way to break up a relationship. Even if you're not married, if you're just living together and having a child, it's still the same thing.
But friends, you had people to lean on, because I know you got a lot of friends, and
Well,
you know we all go through this crap.
Everybody I know has been through it. There's not a whole lot of people I know that have gone the distance.
No.
I mean, I can name them on one hand, at least of my friends.
Right.
Because a lot of people, it's very hard to do what I do and be gone that much, as much as I am.
It's hard to be married, period, nowadays. You know,
It's hard to be
It's just
married.
normal. The pressures of money day
No,
to day.
you ask yourself the question, would it be better if I just stayed home and came home every day or not? Well, if I was miserable, it wouldn't be better.
no.
If I could not afford to take care of the family, it wouldn't be better. So
Right,
it's
sure.
a very massive catch-22.
Right.
My job takes me out of town a lot. Fortunately, I have, my last ex, Sean, and I are best friends. I mean, you know, we have
You're
a...
lucky.
I'm very, very lucky. And she's a great mom, and she's a great person, and we didn't go to court. You know, we didn't beat each other up. See, once again, the lawyers just make it worse. They pour salt into a wound,
I think it's
and then they give you a bill at the end of it.
A big one.
Or they tell you to go see a shrink, and they wind you up, and then all of a sudden they go, right when you're about to freak out, they go, our time is up. And they really don't care
Yeah, I
about
know.
you. So that's
Check, the average check.
another way to throw away money. You know, if you can't talk to the person that you're breaking up with, then you need that third party
It
to deal with
happens
it.
a lot, though. You know, you were luckier than most, but you know, look, I remember years ago. I don't know where we were, Panama, somewhere. Me, you, and Bradshaw, Bob Bradshaw. You had a hotel room that had a jacuzzi in the living room right there.
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I don't require
I
this.
do.
Sometimes
No,
I get
yeah.
it.
I had the waterfall. You had the no.
By the way, I wouldn't trust that water at all.
Yeah.
Okay?
But it was dry. It was empty.
Something about the tempura scooper right next to it.
So I was going through my hell. I was starting to go pre-divorce. My ex, I had been married a very short time. We're in your room at who knows what time of night, and you were my ear. You were like. And Bradshaw was going through hell too. I'm laying in that jacuzzi dry, and you're like leaning on the counter of the bar of the kitchen or whatever it was, just letting us blow. You know,
hey man, that's what friends do. I mean, you have to have. That's the thing. It's like you find out who your friends are, and the most difficult part sometimes of breaking up with somebody is people feel the need to take a side. Obviously, the family's going to be, stick with their blood. Blood is thicker than water.
Right.
I mean, like I said, I'm best friends with Sean, but I haven't spoken to her family in 8 years. So.
But
I guess I had to jump on the landmine there, and sadly, because I liked them, they were nice people.
I just know that
That's
again,
life.
The give and take with you, and the you've seen it all. You've had so many people. I mean, we lose people as we're getting older. It hurts.
Well, now it's like it's not divorce; it's death.
Yeah, well,
now, that's a lot worse than divorce.
Yeah,
no
doubt.
Oh well, depending on how you look at it. I mean, if you're
I don't like
if you're getting buried by debt, maybe death is not such a bad thing.
I just love my friends. I hate losing people. I'm greedy. By the way, thank you. Back in October when my mom passed away, I never talked to you hardly at all. I see you on your Twitters and all this kind of stuff, but you chimed in when my mother died, and I love you for it, man. No, brother, I
lost mine too.
I know you did.
I lost my parents. I'm an orphan now.
If anybody knows the ups and pains and this and that, and has managed to make it and work it and to keep alive, it's this man right here.
Yeah, I'm not that special, man.
No, but I watch you.
Wait a second, man. I mean,
you're my friend, and I see you.
Yeah, but you're a dad. You're a stand-up guy.
I am.
I mean, every time.
But that's why we're here right now, because I am that guy, and I'm telling people it's not just you guys out there. It can go from this guy to this guy to this guy. And
everybody has.
You have to keep it together because kids depend on you, man. You can easily start. I could have easily started drinking myself under the table.
Well, I tried that, and it didn't work.
Well,
so I had to stop that.
You're very professional. That's
pain and the hole in your heart. I mean, everybody has a hole somewhere that they're trying to fill with one thing or another. Yeah. I mean, I'm no different than you or anybody else. I mean, you go through these things, and it's really a drag. And
it is.
And you try to hide it from the children. I think everybody does. But, sometimes, they overhear things, or maybe you're yelling and screaming at a friend, and then you look behind you, and there's your kid.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like, and you go, oh, God, I didn't mean to do that. And I've been on both sides of the fence of that. I've been the victim of that. I've been the cause of it. And it's human nature to become angry when
absolutely.
When you're hurting and that emotion is inflamed, and then you add money, and it's just weird. It's a really awful thing to go through. I mean, I really don't recommend it.
Yeah, we don't recommend it, but
if you can hang in there and make it work, do it, because
it's a hell of an experience. I think it changed me as a man.
Changes you as a human being.
Yeah, and everything I do.
I mean, and I'm going to jump in for the women here too, because they gave birth to these children, in a physical sense, and it's a different connection. Father and mother are two different things, and kids need both.
They need both.
They need both.
Look, we're both pro women and guys. I'm about the people who care about their kids. That's all, women and men. I just happen to be a guy.
I just think, I have a great deal of respect for women, and I'm not going to bad rap my ex-wives. I had as much to do with the breakup as anybody, and I'm very sad about that. I look back at mistakes that I made and regrets that I have, and it hurts me when I think about it, because the last thing I want to do is hurt anybody. And I know that my exes were hurt, and I was hurt, and I'm really sorry for that, and the collateral damage of all that.
And there is.
But, because I've been through it twice, I learned from the first one, which was a little bit more difficult. And the second one, when we fell apart, it was, let's not do that, If, I'd rather take care of you and maintain a friendship if that's possible. And that was early on. Now we're best friends, but that takes a while to cultivate that. You know what I mean? She's a nice person.
What happened with me was, I don't know why, but through the beginning early years when I used to bump into you, I always used to catch you somehow on your way back from an attorney in different time periods.
That was the divorce number one.
It never left me. Up here.
It's not a pleasant experience.
I
man.
get it, but
because lawyers love you to hate each other, and they make a lot of money off of that. And if you could step back when you're in the middle of a breakup, and especially when you have children, and go, regardless of who did what to who, if you could step back and go, look at the situation as from a third person and go, these little kids are gonna get beat down by this one way or another. You can't be the one. Your father, your mother, that's.
Yeah.
They get hurt.
It's hard.
They get hurt,
and it's hard.
And it stays with them, even a passing.
It's hard. You're pent up. You're just. I would get so pissed off. I mean, I wanted to drive my truck through my house. I got that close to doing it, and I didn't.
Well, there's a lot of people sitting in death row right now because they saw red and they did something. And they wake up going, "What did I do?"
I see why people kill people, but I'm saying, no. I'm just. I understand it, but you got to be sane.
Anger is a human emotion. That's a very. It can be very devastating. It could end very poorly, and people do things that they would never do in the light of day.
Yeah, but.
So that's why it was important, as I got older, to be very clear if I was going to raise another set of children.
Right.
Now, my older children turned out great, in spite of what may have been a little bit more of a difficult. I'm friends with Maria. She's my first wife. She's cool. My ex and I.
She remarried?
No. She's living in Las Vegas, so she's near my daughter and my sister, who she's still very good friends with. But Sean lives down the street. And we have little kids, so when you have little kids, there's a lot more interaction.
There's what I want to get to.
So you have to be, we do things differently. It's definitely an adult divorce.
Believe it or not,
we're able to maintain a friendship, and our kids have never heard us scream at each other ever.
Okay, you're a lucky guy.
And so, I don't know, but when they hear somebody raise their voice, even if I'm yelling at somebody about business. On the phone, you like this, and I turn around, my daughter's looking at me with big eyes, I go, well, that's how Daddy talks to business people, not you.
Yeah. I had no idea, up until the phone call when I called you a month ago or whatever, I didn't even know you were divorced.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't realize that we are because we look like we really do like each other. I still have a lot of love for her. I have a lot of love for Sean. And Marie, God bless her, I have a lot of love for her. She gave me 2 great kids. So, I mean, you have to remember, when you divorce somebody, at one point you were desperately in love with them. That's why you married them.
Right.
But people change. When I was so young, and a lot of crazy shit went down when I was younger. It was the raging. I was still in my 20s, raging, and it was,
Yeah, you were busy.
You were on fire. I would say that if you're going to have kids, you should probably, keep a sober outlook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, and if they're crazy, then you're giving them a green light later on that can come back and bite you in the ass.
I get it. Your kids are how old now? Your second kids, 9 and
9 and 6.
9 and 6. Yeah. Okay. Because Anna's 11, and I knew that they were close in age, but and I was so stoked. I go, wow, we got.
Lily's my 9-year-old. She's an old 9-year-old. But she spars with her older brother and sister. See, I don't believe in step brother and sister. Your brother and sister. Right. You're all my blood, and I love you all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now they're here.
Well, my son is here. My oldest son, Trev's here, and Tina lives in Las Vegas with her husband.
Got married.
But the 2 little ones are like 8 minutes from my house. So we go back and forth. We split the time. We have a very liberal policy, Plus, I'm working a lot, so when I'm home, they're with me a lot. That's just the way it
Taking
works
them
out.
to school.
But Sean and I, we do birthdays together, we Christmas, and we hang. I took my daughter and her mom out for Valentine's Day.
Oh, you're a better man than me. I'm telling you, I'm not there yet.
It takes work.
Every time I try, she keeps kicking me in the head. It's like forgiving Charles Manson. Oh, he didn't mean to kill him. Okay.
Well, listen, I realize that I'm most fortunate. Most people don't have that.
Because I am at my wit's end still. We don't talk. 7, 8 years now, divorced.
That's a drag.
I'm
because
fortunate enough
your kid feels that.
But she's a different individual too, and I've been real lucky. She's pretty together, and I thank God for that. But that's all that matters to me. But I tried. Everybody says, just let it go. And then you let it go, and then something else comes along. What do you do?
Well, here's a perfect example. My first wife, Marie, and I, when my daughter got married, I sat next to her and held her hand, and we celebrated the marriage of our daughter. It was we had a really nice day together. You know what I mean? We were able to do that. And that made it more special, and it certainly made it more special for my daughter.
Sure.
to see her mom and dad together. I have a lot of love for Marie. I mean, there's no reason to hate anybody. I mean, there have been moments where we didn't speak for long periods of time. And I'm sad about that. But it's fine as long as you can. It's better not to speak than scream at each other. And then time is a great healer.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you have to remember. I mean, there was times that you were blissfully happy, and unfortunately, if it ends badly, like most divorces do, you forget about the good times.
Yeah.
And then it becomes people talking, get as much as you can, fuck that guy, and that winds everybody up on both sides of the fence.
Right. Well,
But there's no easy way to get through it. My only piece of advice is maybe take a deep breath before you say something you may regret. Much easier said than done, because I'm a very emotional person.
No.
I wear my heart on my sleeve for better or for worse. And I have said things that I wish I could take back. And I have done things that I wish I could take back that have hurt people. I never want to hurt anybody. And there is pain involved in a breakup. And I'm not proud of this. And I wish I could fix it and make everybody happy. But I guess we have to go through what we have to go through in this life. Sometimes it's not up to us. And sometimes it works out the way it's supposed to work out.
Experience counts. You have gone through.
I just don't want to be miserable. I don't want to hurt
Life is
anybody.
short.
And the kids are better off for it,
I've just come to the point where it's like life is too damn short. I'm so tired.
It's getting shorter.
Yes.
I mean, I'm losing 2 a week at this point. It's insane. For me, personally, it's like the amount of I've lost a couple of my best friends in the last couple of years, very closest friends.
Way
And then
too
a
early.
lot of people that I worked with and friends and family that have getting diseases and just, God.
Yeah. You want to say like, okay, if you made it to your 90s, well, you're 90.
Well, if you're lying on your deathbed, you could have amassed all this great fortune of money, but it doesn't do you any good now, does it?
No. But I don't like losing people.
There's a lot of
early.
people that chose money over kids, and I wouldn't have done that, ever.
I
You
get
know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
You can always make more money. You can't get new kids.
And you just hope that you raise kids and that they become decent human beings because of what you're putting into it. It's what you do.
Well, life is not Leave It to Beaver, man,
It's not anymore.
Nobody comes to breakfast with a tie on it, you know what I mean? It's like not at my house.
Oh.
We don't sit down at dinner time and do the Ozzie and Harriet, you know what I mean? It just doesn't work out that way.
What is like dinner at your house nowadays?
It depends. I don't cook very well, so I eat out a lot, but
Everybody sit down together? The kids?
Sometimes,
Okay.
but not a lot because of my different schedules.
I know, but if you're home, you try to get them all.
Well, my youngest son is autistic, which is not a bad thing. I mean, he's just wired different, and he's low on the spectrum, but he eats when he needs to eat. He has to constantly be that way, and everybody else is pretty cool about it. Like, people think that that's where they go, oh, I'm sorry. I go, well, he's not sick. He's just thinks differently. And now he's really coming along great. He's in school. But that's another thing. When you get dealt a hand like that,
there you go.
That's more like, whoa, really? I wasn't counting on that. Nobody ever does.
Right.
But that has certainly been an eye-opener. It was about patience, which was never one of my virtues.
No.
I got that from my dad, man, Excuse me. But it's made me a lot more patient.
You said 8 years ago you stopped everything, drinking.
Yeah.
You smoked too, right?
Yeah, I quit smoking and drank the same day.
Where was that pivotal moment? I mean, why?
I just felt like shit, and I just was tired, and I had kids, and I'm like, I can't. You get to be 50 years old.
But you hung in there. You didn't just do it in 2 months, a year, 6 months later.
No,
right
I just had finally had enough.
Because we've had some times.
I didn't go away anywhere. I didn't, nothing. I just said this. I felt and looked like shit, and I realized in order to sort my life out, I needed to be very clear-headed and focused.
Because with me, I'm like reaching to take the edge off the past few years. I can't help it. I'm just that wound up constantly. And I'm not.
Well, I'm on a constant morphine drip.
Okay, well, that's different.
I'm just kidding. Nah, man, you know what, man? You got to learn to take a deep breath, man. It took me decades and decades and decades to learn that one. Because I would be poked at and I would bark. It's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
And I think before I talk now.
Really?
It took me a long time to learn that.
I got to learn that.
I wish I had that ability, 30 years ago, but, everything in life changes,
Wow.
Now I'm realizing how many more great summers do I have left before I don't
It's good to
have
be
any.
alive. Yeah. Yeah, life is good.
And I want to see my little kids grow up. I had a conversation with my 9-year-old. well, I want you to walk me down the aisle, Daddy. You got to stay around for that. And I go, I don't have any plans on leaving. And I really want to do that, you know. But she's 9.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to be 60 this year, so fuck,
I was,
you know.
yeah, my mother was 93. I got to be 4 years old, and you know, but I'd like to be 50. To your daughter be 50, you'll have to be 100.
190 years old.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want her to get married when she's 19.
No,
but,
I get it, but I mean, I love just.
I don't know, man.
I was very proud to have parents.
I mean, I work with Ringo, and Ringo's 76 years old, and he looks like he's 40. So,
I know. Lucky bastard.
I mean, he's been a great, like someone that I look up to and admire, but he's also a friend, and seeing how well he takes care of himself, and you can live and be healthy.
Right.
It's really up to you. If you're going to eat cheeseburgers and sugar and party until you're probably not going to live as long as if you were moderate about the things that you do, or if you did something bad like smoking cigarettes or something. Maybe you might want to rethink that. I've been losing a lot of friends due to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing to do. If you can stop something that you don't need to do, then because kids do look at you, and whatever you do,
no doubt,
rubs off on them. You think it doesn't. You think they don't remember when they were 2 years old. Well, if they're only 9, 2 years old wasn't that long ago.
They're sponges.
Somebody equated the passage of time. Why does it seem that when you're older, a year is like that?
Yeah.
It's because if you look at the same pie chart, if you're 4 years old, then your life pie chart is quarters. But if you're 59, then you're 1/59th of that. Same thing. So that's a smaller. So it appears it's apparent.
Yeah, it's Christmas before you know it every year for me right now. Yeah.
Remember when you were in school, a semester was an eternity.
Yeah, sure.
Summer vacation was a million miles away.
Got something. You're writing a book now.
I am.
What kind of book?
Book about my life in the studios. No, I'm not writing like the sex, drugs, tell-all.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
There's a couple of funny stories in it, but I've had a pretty interesting life. As a session musician, I played on a lot of records.
Sure.
And, my life just growing up was amusing and interesting, and they came to me and asked me to do it, and I thought, well, if I get final cut, in other words, I get to choose. If I go, I don't want that to be in there, it's out. Yeah. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not going to be telling stories out of school. I've had enough of an interesting life just being a musician without having to throw anybody under the bus, for salacious stories.
I just don't know how you could even remember half the shit.
I kept every date book from 1977, year at a glance. Where I was, every studio, everybody I was working with.
Wow.
Photos, all kind of stuff.
So
it's a great reminder.
Yeah.
You look, now I remember, and it's like anything else. You start remembering all these stories.
How do you write a book? You just talk?
Well, I'm working with a guy named Paul Reese in the UK, who's a legit author, so that I can make sense of it all.
Voice memos? How are you doing it?
We do it on Skype. He's in the UK. I'm here, and he has an outline. We did an outline, and we kind of.
You just talk to him?
Yeah, he throws me stuff, and I tell him this, blah 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 blah.
Wow.
And I needed somebody to make sense of it and make sure it's grammatically correct, so I don't sound like an idiot. But it's not particularly censored. I am the way I am. The way I talk is the way I talk.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's the same thing with my kids. It's like I am that same person. Sometimes I'll.
Who else you gonna be?
Well, it's very funny because like when you're in the car and somebody cuts you off, you'll eventually swear. I may call somebody a douchebag, and my 9-year-old will go, "I don't like that word," and I go, "You don't even know what it means. What does it mean?" I go, "Ask your mother." So I toss the ball that way. And then, because, she doesn't even know why she doesn't like the word, what it means.
Yeah.
And I go, well, why do you have to say that? I go, I don't have to say that, and you're right. And of course, I lied to my daughter and told her that, you can't swear until you're 16. It's against the law.
Yeah.
She'll eventually figure out that I'm lying.
Yes.
But, a little white lie like that doesn't hurt
She's going to write a book. My dad's a liar.
Oh, well, no, my dad's cool.
Yeah.
Because I make a point. I work around, I pick my daughter up from school. I'm there.
I love that.
I drop them off in the morning.
Do you enjoy taking her?
Yeah.
There you go. That's friggin'.
Man, I love every aspect of it.
My daughter's starting to go because everybody's going, your dad's here. I go, you should be thankful all your friends know and like me. You know what I mean? I'm not uptight. I don't have a stick up my ass.
Wait till she starts dating.
Oh, no. I don't don't want to go there yet. Yeah, I don't want to go there. I remember.
I have to do that again.
That was another don't ask, don't tell you told me about one time when we were talking years ago.
No, you don't want to know.
I don't want to know. That'll kill me.
Just figure, how were you at that age, and amplify it by 10.
That's what scares me. That's what scares me. I never wanted a girl, and then I had a girl. And Kim Bullard looked at me years ago and said, but little girls love their daddy. And I never forgot that.
They do.
Anna's very 50-50, but man, I got the best. She'll pick up a tool if I need her to help, and yet she's a little girl, you know?
Man, little
so
girl.
it's like,
I love all my kids.
Yeah,
I got 2 of each.
Yeah, I know. Boys, I don't know. I wanted one, but I see they don't sit still. It's like...
Well, here's the difference between a male and a female. See, women get to a certain age, they can't have children. You could have a kid until you're, 90 years old.
And I may intend to. I'm not sure. I just right now I'm in a timeout.
Well, I figured 4 kids. I got it sorted.
Yeah, all right. You're busy right now.
I'm a single guy, and I think I may remain that way.
He's available, ladies.
No. Here's the thing: is that I have a very bizarre life, and to ask somebody to jump on at this point after 2 marriages that didn't go the distance. I'm not so sure. I mean, I've been alone for almost 8 years now. And,
kind of cool having somebody around, though. I mean, at times.
I have my kids to fill that void.
Yeah, but they're going to get older, too.
And otherwise, it's just a hotel room,
I know. Yeah, I get it.
I just don't want to hurt anybody. That's
it.
the key. I mean, I'm very sorry if I ever did. I mean,
It's all good. You guys, you're really busy right now, and I was really glad to get you, but 40 years. Toto. Right?
Yeah, next year. We're working on a 40th anniversary.
Holy crap.
Playing with Jeff and Mike Beccaro again. We found some old tracks that we were able to
I've been seeing that.
re-edit and rewrite and do some things. And we remastered all the early albums with Elliot Shiner and Gavin Lurson and his team. And we got a big world tour starting, but we're going to be doing some dates this year. So I'm busy all the time. Going back out with Ringo. I just got to work on his new record. And we wrote
How many years have you been doing
that?
Did it before? 4 years?
It's going to be. It's over 6 years now.
Wow. Is Rundgren playing with you? Or?
Yeah.
I love him.
Todd's great. Everybody in the band is great.
When I went to that show at the Canyon Club, I mean, literally my feet were on the stage. And that's why I wanted you sitting there.
Canyon Club?
He played the Canyon Club back last May. I called you.
Yeah,
I
couldn't make it.
It's okay. But I wanted you sitting there to see what he would think. You know what I mean?
He would just go. He would look at me and probably say something. I love Todd.
Yeah. So it was.
I love everybody in that band. It's a great bunch of people.
Yeah.
And he's the best. And
the whole thing.
It's been one of the most positive experiences of my life.
You've done some great stuff, and that's but again,
very fortunate.
You are. But that's why most people don't see the guy behind the music.
Hey man, I leave the gig and I go right to the school and pick up the kids and we go out for dinner or we do something or I hang out and watch cartoons. I love to sit and watch cartoons with my kids at night and stuff.
Are you driving a minivan?
No.
Oh.
I have a Tesla.
Okay.
I had when I first. I've had not a minivan.
I mean,
not a mom van.
Yeah. No. A Lukemobile,
No,
before it was the Porsche. I go, you can't fit 2 kids in a Porsche.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Oh, you got that back seat.
Yeah.
You call that a seat?
Well, I don't have a Porsche anymore.
Oh, okay. That's the last time I saw you.
I have a Tesla. It's a big back seat.
Okay. Yeah, I like those.
Yeah.
Pretty zippy.
Yeah, they are pretty quick.
Electric. Well, so you're eco-friendly.
I'm eco-friendly.
Yeah, that's.
I'm that guy.
He's that guy. Eco-friendly Luke.
I try. You got to try to do something. I mean,
it's all good.
Don't get me started with the rest of it.
Yeah,
please.
You've been living in the same place for years.
Well, I bought my first house before both marriages.
Okay.
So I've been remodeling that and working on that. I love it up there. It's great. I don't need anything.
And the neighbors deal with you all these years.
Neighbors are great. I've been up there longer than anybody.
Wow.
They used to knock on my door and ask for my parents. I go, they live down there.
Awesome. All right. If there's anything you could say to these people, all 3 million or 3, I don't know how. There's a few.
Really?
Yeah. But if you could tell these people, biggest thing you could tell anybody.
Going through a divorce?
Just surviving. Keeping your shit together to be that guy, that woman?
Well, something that took me a long time to realize was that just take a deep breath before you speak. Because whatever you say could change everything.
It's a tough one, though. And
try to avoid making lawyers rich because they don't really care about you, even if they pretend to.
Yeah, they're buying their houses.
I love you a lot. That'll be $10,000.
Yeah. Or I can't have you anymore.
And whatever you do, if you're in the middle of it, don't call your lawyer every 5 minutes because they charge you. Call a friend.
Yeah.
You know, call Regis Philbin.
It's a Regis, yes. He and Kathy
Would you
Lee.
like to use a lifeline?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I would say. You know, your friends will be there. Your real friends will be there for you. But you know, it's never easy. There's no magic wand, man. Everybody's situation is different. It depends on why you're breaking up and what the scenario is and what age you are when you do it. That also has something to do. How old are the kids? And just, I wish everybody the best of luck, man.
Yeah, because
it's hard.
It's ongoing, more so than ever.
It's hard. I mean, I don't think anybody realized when till death do us part. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I think that when they came up with that one, the life expectancy was 35.
Maybe
they were supposed
so,
to be 90 years old and live with somebody you hate for 50 years.
Now it's 15 minutes.
Sometimes it's better to break up and call it a day than live amongst this tension that the kids feel as well, you know. So it's a catch-22.
I just don't think people put up with as much stuff. Like, there's not as much give and take anymore because it's easy to get into an argument. Can you let it go? Look, you guys, Toto, okay? I've watched some knockdown drag-outs.
You have?
Okay? I mean, really, but you guys are friends. Yes, but you're friends.
Well, everybody, hey, listen, people that are happily married scream at each other.
But the thing was, you guys always, what I admired about you was you did it, but then it was like, now let's go. Well,
the most important, humor is the great...
But that's tough.
I mean, we always cut it with the band. We always cut it with humor. If you're having an argument with your spouse or soon-to-be ex-spouse or your ex-spouse, sometimes humor does not work.
Yes. But
you think that's funny, huh? And then you start another thing.
Even as a band, married to 5 people, you can say, screw it, I'm done.
A lot of people do.
I know, and that's why I always, again...
Throw away a good thing.
I've watched...
Same thing as a marriage, man.
It's the same thing, only times 5.
Yeah.
And I've watched and I go, man, I want to go crawl in a hole. And
listen, I mean, girls, you know, men can be a bitch too, okay? It takes 2.
Yeah. But I've always admired and respected all of you because that takes guts because it's easy to quit. Quitting's easy. Yeah. You know, and then you're at 0. And 0's not that cool.
And 0's not cool.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens, you still got to look after your kids. And that's the most important thing on both sides of the fence. I think that's the one thing, even people that are really going through a tough time, they both love their kids.
Yeah.
But don't use them as a tool, as a weapon, you know. I'm going to take those kids away from you. I'm going to do because nobody wins, though, least of all the children.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't use them as a weapon. That's just not fair to them. Because they're going to love mommy and daddy no matter what you say. Unless something really horrific goes down, which is not the case. I mean, not in my life, anyway.
You're a lucky man. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming out today.
Good luck out there, everybody. You know, if you can fix it, do it. You know, if you can't, I mean, really.
Easier said than done, but
is,
yes.
But if it's going to be bad and you're going to lose it, then try to be grown up about it. Take a walk around the block before you scream at anybody, and don't make lawyers rich.
That is where it ends up, and then you don't realize what you don't have anymore until it's all gone.
Yeah, and then the kids,
living proof.
They know.
Yeah.
Kids are a lot smarter than you give them credit for.
You've managed to recover nicely, and I.
Well, not without falling down the stairs and hurting myself a couple times, emotionally speaking, you know, metaphorically speaking. But everybody gets hurt in a divorce, man. Nobody really walks away going, "Hey, I won."
I've seen people that have married 3-4 times and going, "I don't know how I could survive a second one." You know what I mean? Because it hurt me so bad.
Love is a very intoxicating drug. You know?
You used to write a song. Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
All right. Listen, we're going to wrap it up.
Thanks, Peter.
I love you.
Good luck.
Steve Lukather, everybody. I want to thank everybody here in North Hollywood at the Steakhouse Recording Studio, Lee Bench and the crew for having us because I wanted to make it to where we came to a happy medium, made it to where it's on your way going.
It's a great room.
Lots of stuff has been recorded on this console.
I have to go to work now.
He has to go to work now. I have to go somewhere.
But I don't
now.
dig a ditch and stuff like that. I have a really fun job.
He's got a good job. I remember you looking at me going,
I am the luckiest guy at show
You
business.
did. You said one day, I could think of worse ways to make a living. I go, yeah, you're damn right. You know, yeah, not too bad. Anyway, our love and appreciation to Steve Lukather for coming out today, taking the time, because I felt this was very important, and I hope it's important to you, and I hope we'll get to hear from you and see what you think. But I don't get them very often, and we appreciate it. So, right now, thanks again to everybody here in North Hollywood at the Steakhouse, Lee Bench. Appreciate you guys. I'm Peter G. Love you guys. Don't forget to watch the Peter G Show. Peace out.
Peter G Show.